The Mockingjay is coming. The buildup of rebellion is building. It's building. It's building. It's building. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Well, you have to wait till part 2.
Big kids, it's time for your
Hello, big kids. Here's your big review of the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. Now, this movie is obviously based on the third book in the Hunger Games trilogy. Keyword being trilogy, even though now the movies will be a quadrilogy, because that's what you do nowadays. You have to make the final book in a franchise into 2 movies, which could work, and in this case doesn't work. Now, I love the Hunger Games movies. I love the first one, and especially love the second one. And this one feels like a build-up to what could be an amazing movie that didn't need to be 2 parts. Or maybe it just could have been a really long movie. I would have rather had that. If Peter Jackson can make movies that are over 3 hours long, then why couldn't they just made this one? Now, let's get into the good. Love the cast. Jennifer Lawrence has once again proven that she's not only an Oscar-winning actress, but she just, definitely a blockbuster star. She's definitely owns Katniss at this point. She is definitely really has so much going on in her head, and we see that throughout this movie. Like, this is definitely a lot of weight on her shoulders, and we see this, and she is vulnerable and badass at the same time, and I absolutely love her in the movie. We got Philip Seymour Hoffman in the movie, who this is one of his final roles, with part 2 being his final role, and this is definitely he is just awesome in there. Here, him and Elizabeth Banks as Elfie is just great, and definitely bringing some more humor to this very bleak, very dark story, especially with the Hunger Games being pretty dark as it is. This one's definitely the darkest so far, and part 2 probably is going to be darker. Now, of course, we get more from Gale, played by Liam Hemsworth. Definitely more so from him than probably the first 2 movies combined. For people who are a fan of that character, they'll love seeing him. He definitely has some great scenes in there that definitely really brings a lot of emotion to the character. And Peeta's character, which he'll definitely be in part 2 more, he's in bits, but he has a short but prominent role in this. Not as much as part 1 or Hunger Games and in Catching Fire, but definitely in part 2 he'll have a bigger role. And I love, Natalie Adalmer's character in there. She's great. I love her in Game of Thrones. And Julianne Moore's President Coin. Definitely, like I said, part 2 will probably show more of her that part 1, there's definitely more to her that you'll see. And then, of course, Donald Sutherland's character is just totally great and evil, but you can see why he does the things he does. Now, like I said, there's some great action scenes there, but not as much. Definitely not as much action as Hunger Games and Catching Fire. And this movie really sets up, it's a lot of build up into what's going to be probably an amazing finale and a very dark finale. But yeah, this movie is a lot of build up. This movie showcases more what the Hunger Games are really about, not the actual games itself, but the political and rebellion, the political undertones and the rebellion that has been servicing since the first Hunger Games book and movie. Now, like I said, this movie, I felt like it could have been just a really long movie and had part 1, part 2. I actually know what happens in the full book, and I wanted to see where they were gonna end the movie and split the book in half. And I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I really feel like there's just so much stuff that could have just been there's some scenes which were great, which was showcasing key elements that I'm really happy with, but I felt like I said, if they wanted to, they could have made this even a 3-hour movie, not have part 1, part 2, but that's what Hollywood does best. They turn the final books into 2-part movies. I know they're going to do that with Avengers Infinity Wars part 1, part 2, but I feel like that is very understandable. But yeah, I feel like I can't really judge this movie until part 2 comes out, and with that, I feel like it's like watching one Peter Jackson movie. You'll just feel like, oh, okay, it's really complete. But yeah, as a standalone movie, it's definitely the weakest. It definitely needs part 2 to finish up, and I feel like if you can wait a full year to see part 2, definitely go see it. If you're like a huge fan of this franchise, love these characters, definitely go see it. If you're just a casual fan of the Hunger Games and would rather just wait to buy part 1 on Blu-ray and like right before part 2 comes out, or you want to see, I feel like this is better if you just saw part 1 and part 2 back to back, because now it just like sets a tease, more so of a tease than any other tease of like other movie sequels that have come out in many years. And yeah, with that said, I just feel like that hurts it the most. I feel like I said this should have been just one long movie, not like a part 1, part 2, more so than even like the Harry Potter's Deathly Hallows book. I felt like that setup was better. I felt like more pleased with the outcome than this one. This one I just felt like it's more abrupt, and it could have been just one long movie instead of a part 1, part 2. So with that said, like I said, I love the Hunger Games and I love these characters, but yeah, I feel like splitting this really hurts this movie as a standalone movie. It's better binge watching part 1, part 2 instead of like just this as on its own, waiting a year. So with that said, I give the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 a 4 out of 5. Yeah, so it's definitely, like I said, it's going to be hard for a lot of people to wait a full year, and I can already tell, even though this movie is a big opening, it's the least biggest opening of the Hunger Games movies so far, but I feel like part 2 will make up for it, and in so many ways. So, and thank God this movie was in 3D too. It's yeah, but like I said, overall good. Just it's hurting the overall story, splitting this up in the 2 pieces. So check out Rip the Pro for other Hunger Games shirts, and check out more of my website at SeanXLong.com. Like me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, links are in the description. I'm Sean Long, I'm live long and love life. For those that can wait a year till part 2, may the odds be ever in your favor. Maybe the fact that I can't whistle is the reason why we have to wait a full year. Hopefully in a year I can learn how to just...
What is that? What is that? Oh, it's a bat signal. Oh crap, where's my battery? Where is that? Oh, there it is. How convenient. Thank you, Project Triforce. You have my fists full of justice. Oh, looks like I need a shave too. Oh yeah.